Alright, in this podcast episode, I'm kind of just going to be talking about what's going on in the NFL right now. So a lot of stuff's been going down recently. The whole Handshake Gate with Richard Sherman and Baker Mayfield. But first I want to talk about, are the 49ers really legit? Like, are they a team we can look at and think, alright, this team is a playoff-bound team, Super Bowl contender. I don't know about Super Bowl contender, but they looked really good against the Browns. First, I have to say that Kyle Shanahan has been incredible for the 49ers. He's used all of the weapons he's been given. The running game looks great. The Jimmy looks pretty solid coming off an ACL injury like he had last year. And I've got to give it to the 49ers defense. They look like a top unit. Nick Bosa is coming into his own as a rookie. Looks incredible. But the one, I have no real doubts that they are a good team. I know that. But are they good enough to beat a team like the Patriots or Chiefs? I don't know. They haven't had too much competitiveness in their schedule yet. This Browns game was a beatdown, but it was the Browns. The Titans beat the Browns by a wider margin week 1. And I think we could all agree that the Titans aren't doing too hot right now. So I want to see them play the same football they've been playing against some better teams, and then I'll make my assumption from there. Another question I've been kind of thinking about recently with Gardner Minshew playing like he's playing is what happens when Nick Foles comes back? Like, is Nick Foles going to just take the team back? Or is it going to be more of a process? I don't know what they'll do, but I'm assuming they're going to bring Nick Foles back. They paid him. They paid him to throw touchdowns, and I think they're going to honor that. They're going to make sure he gets a lot of playing time when he comes back. And I think Minshew is going to take a back seat. I think all this Minshew mania, all this hype around him is well-deserved, and he looks great. But once Nick Foles comes back, I don't see Minshew really playing for the end of the year, the next year, unless Nick Foles gets hurt again. It's all depending on what they do with Nick Foles, but I believe they're going to keep him if he plays well when he comes back from his injury. They've already paid him. They've given him a contract, and that is that. And then the Handshake Gate with Baker Mayfield and Richard Sherman. This was a very odd, I would say, occurrence. Richard Sherman just went off on Baker Mayfield talking about, I'm sure everybody heard about it, but talking about how, he didn't shake my hand. He didn't shake my hand. There's video evidence of Richard Sherman shaking hands with Baker Mayfield. I don't know what Richard Sherman was thinking. In reality, I think that this whole dilemma is going to go away, fizzle out, and then in the next, month or two, Baker Mayfield's going to bring it up again, and there's going to be a giant storm of attention going Richard Sherman's way, which he loves. I mean, he's always been that guy, stirring beef, looking for as much attention as he can, and I like Richard Sherman, but he's got to calm down in that aspect of things. The Saints. I'm a Saints fan, and what I've seen from the Saints this year is some of the best football I could have imagined from a Drew Brees-less team. Alvin's been playing incredible. Teddy B has been otherworldly good for the after coming. I mean, he got thrown into the spotlight. He has not played a season of football in 4 or 5 years since the injury he had, which was thought to be career-ending, ended up kind of just still affecting him completely. And I really, really like Teddy B. I see him as the heir to the throne if he can keep this up. And but I do believe once Drew gets healthy and comes back, they've got to give it back to Drew. It's kind of the same situation with Gardner Minshew and Teddy B. I mean, Backup is playing incredible and winning games, but you just have to put your starting QB back. You have to let them control their team after an injury like this. And I think that Teddy B I think he loves New Orleans and he's going to stay for a while. You don't pass up the starting job and stay as a backup if you're not going to stay for a couple more years. And he loves the team. If you look at any of the Saints media after the game, Teddy is always very happy. He's just so happy to be in the position he's in with his team and all the guys and friends around him that he loves to play football, and you love to see that from somebody who almost had their career destroyed with that leg injury. And I'm happy for him. I'm really happy he's a part of the Saints. Moving on to the Titans. I think the Titans are such an odd team to pinpoint, to get a good prediction on what might happen with them. Week 1, they destroyed the Browns. Everybody was giving a ton of praise to the Titans. And then they lost the Jags, and they continued to kind of go these up and down cycle. But I was waiting for Taylor Lewan to come back. And I was really, really waiting for Marcus Mariota's emergence once he got that O-line to full health with everybody in it. And although the Titans should have won that game with Cairo Santos missing those kicks, what I saw from Marcus Mariota was unsettling. And if he keeps that up for the next couple of weeks, he's not going to be a member of the Tennessee Titans coming 2020. So far, this is his make-or-break season. He either is going to power through and play great, or he is going to play horribly and he's not going to get paid. But Titans GM John Robinson doesn't always handle his offensive signings very well. And I don't think Marcus is going to be with them coming next year. I think he will be a free agent, and I think that somebody's going to pick him up and he's going to be a career backup. I cannot see him ever coming out into the spotlight. And it's just the Titans defense keeps them in these games. It keeps them in these tight, tough games that they have to win on the offensive side of the ball, and they can't do it. Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator for the Titans, has to give Derrick Henry the ball. He has to. Derrick Henry is a workhorse. He's one of the only workhorses left in the entire NFL, probably for a very long time. Him, maybe Marlon Mack, are the two true workhorses of the NFL. And it really comes down to how Arthur Smith decides to play these next couple of weeks, because Marcus can't do it on his own. Marcus can't do much of anything right now. I'd like to see a little bit more leadership, some compassion towards the game from Marcus, and I'm just not getting it. So I'm still I used to be a big Marcus believer, and right now I'm in the dumps. This is the lowest I've been on Marcus Mariota ever. I feel horribly about what he's doing, how he's playing, and I think that it might be time for the Tennessee Titans to move on. Another thing I wanted to say was the Browns. Come on. I said this. I know nobody's going to believe me or talk about it or anything, but I have been saying this since Odell got signed, since Baker Mayfield played great last season. The Browns are not performing. And it's because of everything so new. You can't just have a new team with these superstar players and a brand new head coach and expect to play great. They need more time. Odell thinks he can do it all on his own. And he's honestly, this is a very unpopular opinion of mine, but Odell is not even a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. Maybe not top 8. I really don't believe in Odell Beckham Jr. I think he's too cocky. He thinks he's everything. He thinks he can do anything, and it's just not the case. I mean, borderline, if Odell plays a little bit better, he had a drop really early in the game that kind of cost them a drive. he fumbled on that last punt, although I know that was garbage time. He still can't do that. You can't do that. And I think that the lack of, I don't want to say veteran, but the lack of people who aren't in their own head thinking that they've got it all is hurting that team. The only player I believe in on that team right now is Nick Chubb. And with the production that the Browns are having on offense and these short drives they're getting is pathetic, and I don't think Nick Chubb is going to benefit from any of it. And Baker played horribly. Baker looks bad. Granted, one of his interceptions was a perfect pass to Antonio Callaway, and it got bobbled and caught for interception. That was not on him. But he just can't do anything at the quarterback position right now. He's not playing well. And I think that the Browns need to take a step back and kind of look at what's going on in their organization and work on it. And really, really, they need to see it from the point of view of somebody like a coach on an opposing team watching film. I mean, it's been pretty brutal for them. And that's that. Moving on from that, I want to talk about Russell Wilson. He looks so good. Russell Wilson looks like he's in the prime of his career. I think this is the best, or some of the best football he has ever played. And I know the numbers aren't super flashy, and he's not like, oh my God, clear MVP candidate because of those numbers and the fact that he's playing on this offense that is not passing the ball. But when you throw for almost 300 yards on 23 passes and have 4 touchdowns, that is some otherworldly stuff. Russell Wilson's ability to move in the pocket and extend the play is unmatched. I've never seen anybody move around and extend plays like Russell Wilson can. It is incredible. His athleticism I wouldn't call him old, but he's not young. His athleticism, he's got the weapons. The Seahawks are a good team. I think that they need some more receivers, but other than that, I mean, they have got a great offensive team with Chris Carson. Will Dissly's looking great. Tyler Lockett really is their only competitive wide receiver, but he's a great player. And, yeah. And honestly, Russell Wilson is so good, that O-line, I mean, as long as he keeps doing what he's doing, he doesn't need a top 10 O-line. He can play with a last-ranked O-line. If I cared, he would still be playing this incredible. It's crazy how good he looks. But I do not think he'll win MVP. I think that he should win MVP, and he should be in the race. But the voters for the MVP like numbers, and they like popularity. Like, they just don't kind of take into account what the player is doing on the field. They just take into account what's on the score sheet and the numbers they've put up. I'm trying to think of anything else to talk about. The NFC South is looking so weird. The NFC South is looking incredibly weird. I don't know what to say about them. Falcons look trash. The Panthers look way better with Kyle Allen and quarterback than Cam Newton. The Buccaneers look okay. I don't want to say good, but the Buccaneers are competent. They can pass the ball. Chris Godwin, incredible. I have him on my fantasy team. He is a god amongst men. I love my boy Chris and Mike Evans. I hate you. I have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin both on my fantasy team. And Mike Evans, 2 weeks ago, gave me 43 points. 43. I was so happy. And this last week, he lost me my game. I was undefeated, and he dropped a goose egg on me. And that hurt. That hurt. So, Chris Godwin is number one in my heart. I love him. I'm glad that he's playing well. The Saints doing what the Saints do, winning the NFC South. They are looking incredible, like one of the top threats, if not the top threat in the NFC. And I'm really happy with the way they're playing. So what's going on with the Chargers? I don't know what to say about the Chargers. I mean, last year and they played really well. I don't know what to say. I thought they looked so good last year. I don't know if that's just strength of schedule. I don't know if it's losing Melvin Gordon, or what. But they have basically the same team they had, and they looked so good last year, and I was really high on them. And right now, I'm not too high on them. Mike Williams, injury questions I feel bad for him because he's an incredible talent, but he just can't seem to shake the injury bug, and it's really, really affecting the Chargers' passing game. Keenan Allen has slowed down recently, thanks to the lack of offense that the Chargers do have. Melvin Gordon came back last week. I'm not going to even, the week he had last week is not going to be what it's going to look like the rest of the season. He's a really good running back, and coming back from this, that was an off game. They were trying to fit Austin Eckler in there with the rushing, and they were down the whole game, and they were just dumping it off to Eckler every play, letting him run up the field. And so tonight it's Thursday, October 10th, and the Patriots are taking on the Giants on Thursday Night Football. And this is going to be a trash Thursday Night Football, kind of not really a rivalry game. But hopefully it'll be entertaining. I don't see it being a close game. I think that Sony's performance last week is a reflection of what's to come. I think Sony has the talent. The way he played last year in the playoffs was really, really good. I was impressed with him. And I think that this whole slump he's been going through has kind of been the game plan for him has been off. And I have to say his running was not good the first couple of weeks, but I think he's picked it up. Last week is a really good bounce back. It's going to help his self-esteem, help him push through the struggles he's been having this season, and have a really good game. I'm looking forward to watching him play. I'm also looking forward to watching Daniel Jones against this Patriots defense, because I don't really know what to think of Daniel Jones. He looked really good against the Buccaneers, who have a decent defense, and I think Daniel Jones, this is a really good way to see how he plays under pressure. In primetime football, I want to see everything he can do for this team and for everybody on that team. Saquon is out. Wayne Gallman is also out with a concussion. So their starting running back is, let me look that up really fast. I believe it's Hillman. Jonathan Hillman, maybe? I don't know. I'll come back to that in a second, but they're without Evan Ingram, their top passing threat, and Sterling Shepard, their best wide receiver. This is a very, very banged-up Giants team. I'm not expecting a lot from them. I do want to see how Daniel Jones plays, but because of all these missed weapons on the team, I wouldn't judge him too harshly on this game. I'm going to give him a little bit of time to adjust, but this game's going to be a really cool one to see these young players ball out. Jonathan Hillman is the name of that running back, by the way. He is their number one starting running back, and last thing I'm going to talk about on this episode is the Steelers and what's going on. They won. They won their game. Sorry. I'm very sorry. They lost against the Ravens in an overtime thriller. And Jalen Samuels got hurt. And they're down to their third-string QB. So James Conner, the injury-prone man himself, is going to have to step up. And I don't see it happening. I see them playing. Steelers are second to last in the AFC North. For sure. I would say it's Bengals, Steelers, then Browns, then Ravens. I think the Ravens are still atop of that division. They have had a couple rough weeks, but as long as they can pull it together, they're going to win this division with ease. This is one of the worst divisions in football right now, and it's not looking too good. So that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll catch you next week. Thank you. Bye.